So this was the thing, and Hindraf became more and more involved in other issues. They were always meeting in Bangsa, Jalan Bangsa, in a office called the Malaysian Indian Youth Council. But it was all done with good intention. But later, as this became bigger involvement in 2007, that is where Udaya Kumar became more and more involved. See, and Vedamuthi, to the best of my knowledge, I have known him for a long time. But they are both brothers, and I know both of them. Both of them are very sincere people, you see. But especially Udaya Kumar is a fighter for Indian, can call him an Indian activist. Always, prisoners in, peculiarly only Indian prisoners are assaulted, and the body was missing in the river. All these things became, and so Udaya Kumar, being an activist, he was fighting for this and always going to the places where there was accusation, saying that, and this I think has been confirmed lately by human rights Suakam Dr. Siva Subramaniam, where he has visited many of these centers and found that the complaints by the Indian prisoners or Indian captives, that they have not been treated well, they have been treated very harshly and all that. So whether it is true or not, it's up to, so I think Udaya Kumar was always on that line, you see.
Apakah keperluan? What is the necessity of shooting him? Nyawa sekarang isteri dia ada 4 orang anak. Tengok semua anak perempuan. 4 orang anak perempuan, 6 bulan. Ini adalah satu perbuatan jenayah oleh pihak polis sendiri. Section 295 of the Penal Code lah வந்து
indirectly, every one of us had maybe one particular thing that these people were talking about. You see, maybe for her, maybe it's something like employment and education. For me, because over a longer period, I've gone through a few more of these things. But we have been sort of tolerating it and never really had the chance to bring out the thing. So suddenly we found that there is a group of people who are brave enough to really voice. So we just sort of, this is the time. That's what I kept telling her. When we always say we don't have brave leaders, sincere leaders. But when you have somebody like this, you must try and make it a point, give them the full support. What happens later is it something. You see, we are not sure whether they are fully, going to be committed to this forever or not. But at least now, give them the backing, and maybe that way they will also remain true to their causes. This is something I basically told, and we started.
I think the lawsuit was a very clever method of gaining attention, but it was little more than that. It was such an outrageous claim that it forced attention to the cause as a whole. As a tool of publicity, I think it did its job, But really, at the end of the day, I don't think there's anyone dreaming of the 1 million coming soon. I don't think that's the case.
One of the strategies appears to be from the very start for Hindraf is to get global sympathy. And I think for the very first time, the Malaysian Indian case, or the plight of the working class of Malaysian Congress, has reached the ears of the world. I think this is the very first time.
I think the reaction the international community is getting is more concentrated in the Indian communities worldwide, or the so-called Indian diaspora. For example, I know that the Tamil communities in Canada, in Britain, in Singapore and in Sri Lanka are watching this very closely, and of course, like not to mention Tamil Nadu of India.
Even in India, this is the very first time. I was, as I said, in India recently, and everyone is asking me what is going on in Malaysia? We always assumed everything is fine in Malaysia. All the while we were worried about Sri Lanka. Now we're so worried about our brothers and sisters in Malaysia.
Very proud event for me, and that's why my article says a proud day for Malaysian Indian. And that was the first day actually I felt proud of being a Malaysian Indian, and until today I'm still proud because of that, of participation and able to show your support.
Why Hindraf was successful was because it managed to hit at the very core of the Indians in the country. It hit at where they were hurting. It hit at the lowest rung of the socio-economic community in the country.
But I must say, Indian problem is also a Malaysian problem. Indian problem is also a national problem. It has everything to do with each and every Malaysian.
I believe because people have felt it inside. So you don't tell somebody what to do. They are doing it themselves. This, I think, will hold for some time. And during when we were at the scene itself, it was quite an emotional thing for us because we have never come across any function where that large group of Indians gathered at any one time.